Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Federal authorities are calling it an act of terrorism at a Minnesota mall. And today we're learning the man responsible lived right here in our own backyard. This is the man federal authorities say made at least one reference to Allah and stabbed 9 people at a St. Cloud, Minnesota mall over the weekend. 22-year-old Dahir Adan. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. We've uncovered new information about Adan, that he used to live in the Fargo area before moving to St. Cloud. But who was this man, praised by ISIS media groups as a soldier of the Islamic State? Valley News Team's Bradford Eric has been investigating Adan's background throughout the day for us. Bradford, what more did you find?
Andrea, it's been reported that Adan's father said Dahir was born in Kenya but was of Somali descent. Documents uncovered by Valley News Live showed Dahir Adan's social security number was given by North Dakota sometime between 1995 and 1998, meaning he was just a small child when he came to North Dakota, and meaning, too, that he was radicalized here. I went to 3 addresses listed for Dahir Adan here in the Fargo area. The people who answered at the first address said they didn't know anyone by his name. The second address in West Fargo, a family answered saying Adan used to live there but moved in 2007. And nobody answered at the last one listed. I did ask Lutheran Social Services if Dahir Adan was settled through their program. They say they can't release any information to me. I also reached out to Fargo Police to see if they're cooperating with federal investigators. They have not yet responded.
All right, thank you, Bradford. We'll have much more on our investigation coming up on Valley News Live at 6. After the stabbing this past weekend, some people in our community are on edge and might find themselves worried about their neighbors who are different from them. But those behind an event called Welcoming Week want to calm those fears by bringing everyone together. Valley News Team's Cornelius Hawker is live at Fargo Brewing Company, where an event meant to do just that is happening. Cornelius?
Andrea, Welcoming Week is all about bringing U.S.-born citizens and immigrants together in common spaces so they can actually get to know each other. It's happening here and across the country, and this is one of many events scheduled over the next several days. On Valley News Live at 9, I'm going to talk to the people behind Welcoming Week and ask them for their take on the St. Cloud Mall stabbings and how they think we can stop people in our country from becoming radicalized, and how they plan on welcoming everyone, not just during this week, but for all the time. Reporting from Fargo, Cornelius Hawker, Valley News Live.
All right, thanks so much, Cornelius. It's quiet today, but that might change overnight. Let's head over to Hutch to find out about the forecast. Hutch?
Thanks so much, Andrea. Most of us enjoying quite a bit of sunshine, but it's very windy in the Northern Valley and even here in Fargo. 20-mile-per-hour westerly winds are buffeting the region. Gusts to 38 in Bemidji, 25-mile-per-hour gusts in Grand Forks. Hold on to your hats tonight. The wind will be about all we have to worry about this evening, with temperatures on the mild side, near 80 in the Southern Valley, closer to 70 up north. Your planner for Fargo looks like this. Your temperature will slip through the 70s early evening, quickly into the 60s with this dry air we have over us as the sun sets on our day. I anticipate the gusty nature of the wind will subside. Wet weather is on its way to the valley by Saturday. We could have some spots with over a couple of inches of rain. I'll have details on when we expect all of this to take place here in just a few moments.
I wasn't sure if you said weekend or not. Did I hear correctly?
Yeah, you did not hear. I'll have the details on that here in a minute. It doesn't include snow, though. I'll tip you off on that.
Yeah,
yes.
Thank you so much. If you're walking past the Roger Maris Museum at West Acres Mall, you may notice the 2 shelves that were once empty have items on them again. But they're only replicas of the items that were stolen. The 1960 MVP Award and S. Ray Hickok belt were stolen in the middle of the night on July 26th. The mall officials say the investigation is still ongoing, and they put out the replicas to tell the public what happened and that they hope to recover them. Around 1:45 this afternoon, fire crews and Xcel Energy responded to a gas leak near 116 C Street in West Fargo. A man tells us that his neighbor was doing yard work when he accidentally cut a gas line. Crews are still working to fix the line. Officials say no one was hurt. A suspect is in custody after a shootout with police this morning. Police and federal agents say he's the man responsible for weekend terror attacks across New York and New Jersey. A string of explosions that began Saturday night in Manhattan's Chelsea neighborhood. NBC's Jay Gray has the latest.
The manhunt for 28-year-old Ahmad Khan Rahami ended this morning in Linden, New Jersey, after what witnesses described as a shootout between the suspect and police.
And next thing you see a cop or two right there. Next thing you heard is just gunshots. Boom, boom, boom.
One of the officers was hit, saved by his Kevlar vest. A second, slightly injured when he was struck by debris. Rahami, seen in this cell phone video trying to run from police, was wounded by return fire but conscious as he was transported to a nearby hospital.
There is no other individual we're looking for at this point in time.
Rahami is a naturalized U.S. citizen born in Afghanistan. Investigators say he's the man seen on this security camera near the site of the bomb blast in Manhattan Saturday night. One of 3 explosions in a 48-hour period. NBC News has learned investigators have uncovered bomb-making materials consistent with those used to build the devices. That evidence pulled from inside an apartment over a New Jersey restaurant owned by Rahami's family.
We will continue to conduct investigative activity to ensure we completely understand Rahami's social network.
As that investigation continues, so does the resolve of the communities affected.
They don't get scared. They're tough, they're resilient. They go about their business every single day.
As police and federal agents go about the business of trying to understand how and why it happened.
This is all unfolding on the eve of the United Nations General Assembly. Officials have stepped up security dramatically in the wake of the attacks, with more than 1,000 additional officers and National Guard soldiers now on the streets across the area. A local Islamic leader is calling them lunatics, saying people who commit acts of terrorism or violence are not really part of the Islamic faith. That today after reports a Muslim man who injured 9 people with a knife in St. Cloud this weekend may be linked to terrorism, or he may have been striking back against people who are anti-Muslim. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson has reaction from the leader of the Islamic community in Grand Forks.
Nabil Suleiman is the leader of the Islamic community in Grand Forks, a community that nationwide has seen an increase in attacks this year. According to the Council on American Islamic Relations, many American Muslims fear for their safety and the safety of their families. They don't think it's safe for them to go out in public. Do you think that's the case here?
It is the case, but maybe we are not feeling it as much as some other folks in other areas.
Do you know of families that think, well, it's not really safe for me to go to the mall or downtown shopping, or it's just kind of an uneasiness?
Uneasiness. I have not heard from a single person saying, I cannot do this anymore because of so-and-so.
Suleiman says when people like the St. Cloud stabber commit acts of violence, and if they find out he supposedly did it in the name of Islam, he is not part of the true Islamic faith. They don't represent you.
They not just not to represent me. They are living on a different planet, it seems like. We are way far apart from each other. The way they think is way different. They think like criminals.
Suleiman says he thinks most people understand Islam does not support violence. However, he says the current rhetoric in the presidential campaign is fanning the flames of protest against the people who practice it, Muslims.
And hating a Muslim is becoming like a fashion. It's not a bad thing anymore. It's okay to hate Muslims and to abuse them and to try to rip the scarf out of a Muslim woman, because some politicians are actually encouraging them.
In Grand Forks, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
Suleiman says if anyone has questions about the true Islamic faith, he's more than happy to meet with them. The Somali Community Development of North Dakota issued a statement in response to the terror attack in St. Cloud, saying, in part, we condemn violence and acts of terrorism against individuals living in our communities. SCDND mourns with you and would like to express sincere sympathy to the victims, their families, and the communities impacted by this disgusting event. You can read the full statement on our website, valleynewslive.com. Vikings coach Mike Zimmer announced today that running back Adrian Peterson has a torn meniscus in his right knee. Zimmer shared the news today at a news conference. He says at this point it's unclear if Peterson will be ready to play on Sunday. AP was held to 19 yards on 12 carries against the Green Bay Packers before being helped off the field following the injury to his right knee in the third quarter. Zimmer said after looking back at the play, it appears Peterson had his foot planted and was hit from the side. It was a lesson today about our environment, and in particular about one of the key elements in it that helps sustain life: water. 8th graders from Fargo's Discovery Middle School received a first-hand lesson about rivers and watersheds flooding right on the Red River. And in this outdoor setting, they're also getting the chance to get up close and personal with the river. That's in the form of a community service project. What they're doing is helping protect the Red's ecosystem by clearing the riverbanks of trees and brush.
We're picking up branches that I'm pretty sure they have invasive species on them, and we're taking them and we're helping out because what we can do in a couple of hours usually takes them like a couple of days, sometimes like weeks.
This is the 10th year for Discovery's outdoor science lesson and community service project. They have also worked at Yunker Farm, Treefold Park, and along the bike paths. Duck hunting is expected to be good when Minnesota's regular waterfowl season opens half hour before sunrise on Saturday, September 24th. Duck season will be open for 60 days in each of the 3 waterfowl zones. In the North Zone, duck season is September 24th through November 22nd. And in the Central Zone, duck season is set to start the 24th and run through October 2nd. Remember to like Valley News Live on Facebook. You can follow the latest news, weather, and breaking news updates anytime on your feed. Just search Valley News Live, like our page, and you'll stay informed throughout the entire day. It's a bit confusing for child safety experts as they try to figure out how more children are dying in car crashes. That's still ahead tonight.
A windy day across the valley with temperatures peaking near 80, south 70 up north. It does look like we have rain in the forecast. Hour by hour details are coming up right after this.